Hello and welcome to Fox 29's News Now. I'm Carrie McGuire and today is Tuesday, October the 9th. We have some breaking news right now. Nikki Haley has resigned as UN ambassador. President Trump and Ambassador Nikki Haley will meet in the Oval Office coming up any minute now. We're just waiting on that. It's supposed to be around 10:30. It's now past that point. They will be talking to the media about her resignation and what brought this on. So again, that's going to be President Trump and Ambassador Nikki Haley in the Oval Office any minute now. As we wait for that press conference to come, here's a look over the Benjamin Franklin Parkway here in Philadelphia. Today it's mostly cloudy skies, slight chance of a rain shower, high near 80 degrees, and winds light and variable. Those winds are averaging about 5 miles per hour, and humidity is 82%. Here's a live look over the Gulf Shores in Alabama as we prepare for Hurricane Michael to make its way to the coast. It is now strengthened. We just heard word this morning that it is now a Category 2 storm with maximum sustained winds of up to 100 miles per hour. Hurricane Michael is a dangerous threat for the northeastern Gulf. Heavy rainfall and significant flooding is expected over the plains. Hurricane Michael is near the southeast Gulf of Mexico and is expected to strengthen further the next day or two before landfall. Residents in the northeast Gulf Coast region should prepare for multiple hazards. This includes storm surge, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds. A powerful storm system will produce excessive rain, flooding, severe weather, and mountain snow across the central U.S. through midweek. Just a short time ago this morning, Fema gave an update on Hurricane Michael preparations. Here's a look at that press conference.
Bend region, upwards of 8 to 12 foot storm surge is expected, so there could be some significant low-lying flooding in coastal areas. Then the storm will quickly move up through Georgia, expecting some damaging winds up across the state of Georgia, down trees, power lines, and power outages. And then up across the Carolinas by Thursday into Friday, we'll see additional heavy rainfall in North Carolina, where they had recently experienced flooding from Florence. There could be some locally significant flooding, but fortunately this time the storm is not expected to stall. It will be moving rather quickly and then out to sea off the southern New England coast by Friday. And then in addition, we will see a threat for some tornadoes over the southeastern United States with the track of Michael. Again, this beginning late tonight and in through the day on Thursday. The next weather update officially from the National Hurricane Center will come in at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That is all from NOAA. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Ken. Good morning. I appreciate everyone being here today. I appreciate the team helping us get the message out for our state and local partners. The time to evacuate and heed the local warnings is now. As Ken just alluded to, Hurricane Michael is going to be a devastating storm to a part of Florida that has not seen a storm of this magnitude in quite some time. We at FEMA, we are activated at our Regional Response Coordination Center in Atlanta. We have activated our National Response Coordination Center here in D.C. We have teams that are now embedded with the state of Florida, Georgia, and surrounding states. We are in good communications with our state partners. We have no limiting factors. We have plenty of commodities on hand to fill gaps that may present themselves with this storm. I do want to set expectations for our citizens. You will see damage to infrastructure. You will see power outages, and services that we're normally used to will be interrupted as a result of Hurricane Michael. The time to prepare is now. Please, we want to reemphasize to heed those local warnings as they know best for our citizens and our visitors of the Florida Gulf Coast. Our priority is going to be on life saving, but our effort is going to be stabilization of our critical lifelines, power and security, food, water, and sheltering, health and medical, energy, both power and fuel, communications, transportation, and hazardous waste. We will have a unity of effort across the federal family, across our state and local family to make sure that we rapidly stabilize those critical lifelines. Again, I do want to set those expectations. This is not going to be a stabilization that will occur in days. It will take us some time, but we have great partners on the ground, both in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, and all the way up into the Carolinas. I want to make sure that our citizens know they can go to the FEMA website, download the ready.gov, or go to ready.gov and download the FEMA app if you have any questions on what preparedness actions need to take place. But the main thing that we ask you to do, we ask our teammates here in the media and our teammates that are our citizens to do at this time, is to evacuate if asked to do so. That is the most important role you can play to protect not yourself, but also to protect the lives of our first responders. We ask that you do not put our first responders in harm's way if they have to come and try to rescue you and you've been asked to evacuate. Thank you very much, and at this time I'll turn it over to our Coast Guard partners.
Thank you and good morning. We urge everyone in Hurricane Michael's path to be ready to shelter in place, stay off the water, stay clear of beaches, and heed all safety messages and evacuation orders from state and local authorities. Social media is great for resources to follow updates, but do not use social media to report emergencies. Please call 911 or use VHF Channel 16. Our priorities are the safety of our responders, their families, and the public. Once the storm has passed, hazards may still be present. Stay in a safe location while the Coast Guard and other state and local authorities assess damages and disperse additional resources. Thank you.
Good morning. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers South Atlantic Division is coordinating closely with FEMA Region 4, and of course we're coordinating closely here in D.C. To provide any support that is required. Thank you.
Hola, buenos días. Soy Daniel Yargués de FEMA, portavoz de FEMA. Queremos informarles que esperamos que esta tormenta sea de gran magnitud y que traiga fuertes vientos. Como lo dijo nuestro socio del Servicio Nacional de Meteorología, se esperan vientos de hasta 100 millas por hora, que se alcance una categoría de 3. Esto es una tormenta de gran magnitud. Entonces, las recomendaciones que les damos, por favor, hagan caso y acaten a las órdenes de sus autoridades locales, ya que si tienen que evacuar, si tienen que irse de esa área, por favor háganlo. También se espera que la marejada ciclónica alcance en unos lugares hasta 12 pies, entonces va a traer también muchísima lluvia, agua y olas muy fuertes. Conocer esas rutas de evacuación es importante. Como lo dijo el administrador asociado Jeff Bayer, que por favor también descarguen la aplicación de FEMA, ya que pueden obtener información de refugios si necesitan ir a un refugio y también alertas de las condiciones del tiempo del Servicio Nacional de Meteorología. Es el momento para hacerlo. Podemos hacerlo hoy, ya que se espera que esta tormenta tormenta toque tierra para mañana alrededor del mediodía. Entonces, por favor, hagan caso a eso y descarguen la aplicación para recibir esta información. Nosotros aquí en Fema estamos trabajando con nuestros socios en Florida, en Alabama, en Georgia. Ya tenemos equipos de Fema desplazados en estos centros de operaciones para poder apoyar y ayudar en las necesidades que puedan tener. También nuestras oficinas aquí en Fema tenemos equipos y ya estamos activados al 100% para poder apoyar las necesidades que se puedan dar. Tenemos también suministros a la mano para poder apoyar las necesidades de los estados impactados. Y también les pedimos que esperen interrupción de servicios de agua, de electricidad, de gas, porque bueno, esta tormenta trae muchos vientos, agua, manejada ciclónica, y lo importante en este momento es evacuar, acatar esas órdenes de evacuación y descargar la aplicación de FEMA para recibir información de lo que está sucediendo. Gracias. Thank you.
I'm going to open it up for Q&A.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk a little bit about any sites that might be in the hurricane's path that have you concerned or preparing in any way? I know in North Carolina with Florence there were some sites that were nuclear power plants that were of concern. Is there anything similar with this storm?
You know, our main concern now is the safety of the citizens, and we urge that anybody that needs to evacuate, evacuate. Obviously, we'll continue to assess as the storm gets closer to landfall. It's a large, area that's currently under a hurricane surge warning. So we'll continue to monitor all that and then, obviously be ready to support our local and state efforts. But our main concern now is just the evacuation of our citizens in danger. Yes, ma'am.
Has preparing for this storm been different than, say, a Hurricane Florence, where we had a lot more of, a preview as to what was to come, as in with this one, it's really just kind of popped up pretty suddenly?
Every storm's different. This is just a great illustration of that. I wish every storm was the same and we could prepare the same way. Obviously, there's benefits to having more time because you have more time to warn our citizens of the danger. Also, with this one, though, you also have limited time, which causes you to act more and act more decisive, which is good. And I believe we're doing that very, very well. We've been monitoring the storm or the disturbance, for a couple of days. But you're right, this rapidly intensifying storm always presents a challenge. But, the state of Florida obviously is no stranger to hurricanes. The Gulf Coast is no stranger to hurricanes. We have some of the best emergency managers in the nation that are prepared for this. We have some of the best first responders in the nation prepared for this. The Florida National Guard is one of the top guards that we have in our nation. And our states surrounding there are ready to support. So when you put the whole family together, whether it's 4 days or a couple of days, we're prepared and we're ready for whatever Michael may throw our way. Yes, sir.
Hey, Jeff. Greg Wallace from CNN. With Florence, a few weeks ago, we saw a lot of flooding. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what to expect with this storm and what the challenges to reestablishing those lifelines will be?
So, again, looking at a crystal ball that may not, hopefully we're wrong, but with this storm, what I would say, you're going to see a traditional powerful hurricane strike, very fast moving, high surge, and very, very powerful winds. So you'll see more power outages, and probably the damage to the power infrastructure is going to be more significant than Florence because it will be down power lines and poles. So it will take a little more time to restore. But again, Florida Power and Light and the other crews that are coming in are very, very adept to doing that. You're going to see more localized impact with the surge, where you saw a lot more inland, miles and miles inland flooding with Florence. I would have to say this: the states of Georgia and Alabama, obviously need to be prepared. Some of the hurricane force winds are going to go well inland, well into the state of Georgia if it continues on the current track. So you're going to see a lot of debris. You're going to see a lot of power outages. With power outages, everything then becomes compounded. Our wastewater and water treatment plants are now affected. Our supply chains are affected. So we're really focused in on that. We're coordinating not just at the government level, but at the private sector level, so we can quickly and rapidly stabilize that. But it will take some time. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Is there any way you can reiterate kind of sort of what you said in Spanish, because our company Telemundo is recording it? You can reiterate basically what...
Yes, sure.
¿Algo en específico de que...?
No, en total lo que dijo el señor, lo que va a pasar por Georgia y los vientos y que no va a haber luz por un rato y que va a ser más fuerte que el flow.
Bueno, cada tormenta es diferente. Esperamos que esta tormenta traiga vientos de hasta 100 millas por hora, que pasen las 100 millas por hora. Entonces, también les pedimos a las personas que tengan mucha precaución con la manejada ciclónica. En lugares se espera que llegue hasta 12 pies estas olas. Entonces, poner atención a las autoridades locales es súper importante, ya que pues, si hay que evacuar o si tenemos que salir del área donde vivimos porque es peligroso, hagámoslo. Cada tormenta es diferente, pero continuamos vigilando esta tormenta muy de cerca para poder informar. Nosotros ya estamos aquí listos en Fema para apoyar a nuestros socios estatales, también con la familia federal, como lo vimos el Cuerpo de Ingenieros, Servicio Nacional de Meteorología, para poder tener actualizaciones y poder informar. Pero les pedimos que pongan mucha atención a las autoridades locales, ya que si tienen que evacuar hay que hacerlo inmediatamente.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are there any specific numbers of how many people have been deployed to the area, or what kinds of resources are already there?
So, from the federal perspective, we already have a large contingency that's in Florida from Hurricane Irma. So, we're going to utilize a lot of the staff that we have in place now, but we have sent our National Incident Management Assistance Team is on the way. Our Regional Incident Management Assistance Team is already at the Florida EOC. We have a pre-designated federal coordinating officer that's already at the Florida EOC, as well as other staff. We have our Urban Search and Rescue Network all on alert. We have teams that are currently in Atlanta ready to push out. As far as commodities, our stopgap commodities, which are not intended to be the primary source of food and water, but they are just as what we say a gap measure. We have adequate commodities on hand in Atlanta, and we can push those anywhere in the Panhandle. So we feel like we're very prepared for Michael, and again, we're supporting a extremely capable state in the state of Florida and the surrounding states. Any other questions? Well, look, in closing, I want to thank the media. You are our biggest voice at this time to get the message out to the citizens. I urge, again, our citizens on the Gulf Coast to take precautions. If you are under an evacuation order, please evacuate. And, our thoughts and prayers will go out for everybody affected by Hurricane Michael. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. As a reminder, if you haven't already done so, download the FEMA app to get up-to-date information from FEMA. And we do plan on having a telephonic update today at 3:15, and again another press brief tomorrow morning at 9:15. Thank you.
That was an update from earlier from FEMA on Hurricane Michael as it approaches the Florida Panhandle. The latest word is that Michael is still strengthening, moving north at 12 miles per hour, minimum pressure points of 965, and maximum sustained winds of 110 miles per hour. So we are just keeping track on that. And again, they said there should be another briefing later on today. Right now, we are just waiting on an announcement from Nikki Haley and President Donald Trump over in the Oval Office. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is tendering her resignation, two sources tell the AP. marking the latest shakeup in the turbulent Trump administration just weeks before the midterm election. Trump tweeted that he has a big announcement with my friend Ambassador Nikki Haley in the Oval Office at 10:30 a.m. We are just waiting for that video. Congressional and Trump administration officials told the AP that Haley plans to resign. They spoke on condition of anonymity because they weren't authorized to speak on the record ahead of Trump's announcement. They did not provide a reason. Haley was appointed to the UN post in November 2016 and last month coordinated Trump's second trip to the United Nations, including his first time chairing the UN Security Council. Before she was named by Trump to her UN post, Haley was governor of South Carolina, the first woman to hold the post. She was reelected in 2014. Last month, Haley wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post discussing her policy disagreements, but also her pride in working for Trump. It came in response to an anonymous essay in the New York Times by a senior administration official that alleged there to be a secret resistance effort in the right in Trump's administration and that there were internal discussions of invoking the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from office. I proudly serve in this administration and I enthusiastically support most of its decisions and the direction it is taking the country, Haley wrote. But I don't agree with the president on everything. So again, we're just waiting for that announcement from President Donald Trump and Nikki Haley to what led to this resignation. Brett Kavanaugh begins his first day on the job today. Mike and Alex spoke with Washington, D.C. Fox coordinator Doug Luzader. Here's a look at that.
Never mind. Justice Brett Kavanaugh begins his first day of work. Actually worked yesterday a little bit at the Supreme Court. That follows a ceremonial swearing in at the White House last night.
So Doug Luzader has more from Washington on what today's going to be like.
Okay.
The confirmation battle may be over, but the partisan warfare that this triggered will continue into the midterms and beyond. Arriving to applause, 8 members of the U.S. Supreme Court entered the East Room of the White House last night, a show of solidarity as they watched the now 9th justice take his ceremonial oath of office.
So help me God.
Justice Brett Kavanaugh had just listened as the president addressed the lengthy and bitter fight over this confirmation.
On behalf of our nation, I want to apologize to Brett and the entire Kavanaugh family for the terrible pain and suffering you have been forced to endure.
I take this office with gratitude and no bitterness. On the Supreme Court, I will seek to be a force for stability and unity. My goal is to be a great justice for all Americans.
They may have the power right now, but we need to take it back.
The Democrats planning to use the Kavanaugh battle to fire up voters in next month's midterm elections. And there is talk about possibly impeaching Kavanaugh if Democrats retake the House, something that caught the president's attention.
And now they want to impeach him. I've heard this from many people. I think it's an insult to the American public.
Justice Kavanaugh will arrive at work today a few days late because of the extended confirmation battle. Republicans had hoped to have him on the court on October 1st when the new term began. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
All right.
thank you very much, everyone. Before we begin, I'll just say that we're very well prepared from the incoming hurricane. We have another one coming, so we've done very well. North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, so many places. And we have another one coming in, a big one, much bigger than they anticipated a week ago, 7 days ago. I heard for the first time there was a very small drop of weather that looked like it was forming, and now it's pretty close to a Category 3 if it's not already a Category 3. So we are very well prepared. FEMA's ready. We're all ready. Spoke with Governor Scott, spoke to everybody that you have to speak to, and I think that hopefully we'll get lucky, but maybe that won't happen. But we're prepared. I wanted to do this because Nikki Haley, Ambassador to the United Nations, has been very special to me. She's done an incredible job. She's a fantastic person, very importantly, but she also is somebody that gets it. She has been at the United Nations from the beginning with us, right from the beginning, and worked with us on the campaign. It's been really a long time, very intense, and she told me probably 6 months ago, she said, you know, maybe at the end of the year, at the end of a 2-year period, but at the end of the year, I want to take a little time off. I want to take a little break. She's been a very successful, as you know, governor of South Carolina for 8 years. And then she did this, and this is possibly even more intense with what's going on in the world, and very dangerous and a lot of things. But she's done a fantastic job, and we've done a fantastic job together. We've solved a lot of problems, and we're in the process of solving a lot of problems. At the beginning, North Korea was a massive problem, and now we're moving along. It's moving along really nicely. I can speak for Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. He thinks the world of Nikki, and so we're all happy for you in one way, but we hate to lose. Hopefully you'll be coming back at some point, but you want to just, in maybe a different capacity. You can have your pick. But I just want to let you know, so at the end of the year, Nikki will be leaving, and we'll be in constant touch. I know that whenever you have any ideas, you're going to call me because you know all the players. And that was really the thing I think she did best at the United Nations. She got to know the players. She got to know China, Russia, India. She knows everybody on a very first-name basis, and they like her, except for maybe a couple, which is normal, right? They can't all like you, but they do. They really like her, and I think maybe more importantly, they respect her. So, Nikki, I just wanted to tell you that we will miss you. We'll be speaking all the time, but we will miss you nevertheless, and you have done a fantastic job, and I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I want to say, first of all, I want to thank the President for just, allowing us to come out and talk to you this way. It has been an honor of a lifetime. I said I am such a lucky girl to have been able to lead the state that raised me and to serve a country I love so very much has really been a blessing, and I want to thank you for that. But I'm most excited. Look at the 2 years. Look at what has happened in 2 years with the United States on foreign policy. Now the United States is respected. Countries may not like what we do, but they respect what we do. They know that if we say we're going to do something, we follow it through, and the President proved that, whether it was with the chemical weapons in Syria, whether it's with NATO, saying that other countries have to pay their share. Whether it's the trade deals, which have been amazing, they get that the President means business, and they follow through with that. But then if you look at just these 2 years at the UN, we've cut $1.3 billion in the UN's budget. We've made it stronger. We've made it more efficient. South Sudan, we got an arms embargo, which was a long time coming. 3 North Korean sanctions packages, which were the largest in a generation, done in a way that we could really work towards denuclearizing North Korea. The Iran deal, bringing attention to the world that every country needs to understand you can't overlook all of the bad things they're doing. You have to see them for the threat that they are. I think you look at the anti-Israel bias and the strength and courage that the President showed in moving the embassy and showing the rest of the world, we will put our embassy where we want to put our embassy. All of those things have made a huge difference in the U.S. standing, but I can tell you that the U.S. is strong again, and the U.S. is strong in a way that should make all Americans very proud. And I do want to say that it's not just the president I want to thank. The family in general. The First Lady has been nothing but very, very kind to me. I can't say enough good things about Jared and Ivanka. Jared is such a hidden genius that no one understands. I mean, to redo the NAFTA deal the way he did, what I've done working with him on the Middle East peace plan, it is so unbelievably well done. And Ivanka's been just a great friend, and they do a lot of things behind the scenes that I wish more people knew about, because we're a better country because they're in this administration. I also just have to say, certainly thank you to my family. Michael is a saint, and my two little ones, I adore them. And to Team USUN. You know, they sacrificed a lot. They put a lot of time and energy into it, but they have a lot of heart and really wanted to make America proud. And so with that, I'm not leaving until the end of the year. My goal is that we make sure that everything is in good place and for the next ambassador to come in. But it's a great day in the United States, and I'm proud to have been part of the team. Now, I don't have anything set on where I'm going to go. I think that the main thing was I was governor for 6 years, and we dealt with a hurricane, a 1,000-year flood, a church shooting, a school shooting. There was a lot. And then to come in and do 2 years of Russia and Iran and North Korea, it's been 8 years of intense time, and I'm a believer in term limits. I think you have to be selfless enough to know when you step aside and allow someone else to do the job. So thank you, Mr. President. It's been an honor of a lifetime. And I will say this, for all of you that are going to ask about 2020, no, I'm not running for 2020. I can promise you what I'll be doing is campaigning for this one. So I look forward to supporting the president in the next election.
That's so good. Thank you, Nikki.
Ambassador Gilley, you listed off a long list of accomplishments. Why would you want to leave that all behind? Is it really a personal decision because you've been away from your family for so long? Or is there something else too?
My family is very supportive. So no, there's no personal reasons. I think that it's just very important for government officials to understand when it's time to step aside. And I have given everything I've got these last 8 years, and I do think that sometimes it's good to rotate in other people who can put that same energy and power into it. So there really is, a lot of people are going to want to say there's a lot of reasons why I'm leaving. The truth is, I want to make sure that this administration, the president, has the strongest person to fight. It was a blessing to go into the UN with body armor every day and defend America. And I'll always do that. I'll never truly step aside from fighting for our country. But I will tell you that I think it's time.
And Mr. President, why make the announcement now as opposed to after the midterms?
Well, Nikki's going to be staying till the end of the year, which will be just about 2 years. And I just think, and I was just, as Nikki was speaking, I was thinking when we came into office, it was almost inevitable in the minds of many that we were going to war with North Korea. If you ask President Obama, I'm sure he'll tell you that that was by far his biggest problem when we sat and met right here. But that looked like a real problem. Iran looked like a real problem. It was a question of when would they take over the Middle East prior to my coming here, and now Iran is fighting for their lives. They've got riots in all their cities. It's blowing up. Their inflation, their economy is in tatters. And at some point, they'll probably come and want to make a real deal, not the deal that they made, the ridiculous deal that they made. That was unacceptable to me. And so we'll see what happens. But what a difference between Iran when we first came, I'd like to say the day before we came, and also if you look at North Korea, I mean, there was a deal that there was something that was it was a devastating, potentially devastating problem, and now the relationships are very good. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo just left, had a great meeting, also was in China, also spoke to many of the Asian leaders or went there and had some good meetings, but had a really very good meeting with North Korea and Chairman Kim, and we've just made a lot of progress on so many other fronts also. And I think the world, as Nikki said, the world is really respecting the United States again, much more so than they have in many, many decades. We are respected again, that I can tell you, very much respected again. And people want to be on our side. Even if you look at the votes in the United Nations, I mean, votes that we would normally get no votes, we're getting very strong votes now. So I just want to thank Nikki, and I thought this would be an appropriate way of doing it, because when you write it out on a piece of paper that, you know, Ambassador Haley will be leaving, and you say nice things, people say, well, what's going on? This is the right way to do it. And when you really think somebody's done a terrific job, I felt this was an appropriate way of doing it, and we both liked it. So I just want to thank the ambassador. I just want to thank Nikki, okay?
What are you thinking about the successor?
Well, we have a number of people that would very much like to do it. It's a great position, and Nikki realizes it. I think she's helped make it a much better position, if you want to know the truth. I think it's become maybe a more glamorous position than it was 2 years ago. Maybe I wonder why, but it is. I mean, she's made it a very glamorous position. She's made it a more importantly, a more important position. So we have, I can almost say, many people that want to do it, and they're very good people. And I'll be talking also to Nikki about that, and to the general about that, and to my staff. But we have many people that are very, very much interested in doing it.
You said you just saw Secretary Pompeo. Are you frustrated by the lack of actual announcements that are coming?
No, not only am I not frustrated, I think it's incredible what's happening. You're talking about North Korea? It's amazing the way the media, who are you with?
With France 24.
With who?
France 24.
France.
So it's amazing the way the media says that, you know, for 80 years they couldn't do a thing. And what are we in, 3 months of negotiation? It's ridiculous. As I've said about 1,000 times, you have no rockets flying, you have no missiles flying, you have no nuclear testing, you have nuclear closings, closing up different areas of North Korea. We're getting the remains back. It's already started, of our great heroes. We got our hostages back, and I didn't pay $1.8 billion like the previous administration. I paid nothing. But I have agreed to meet, and I have agreed to spend time. But how long has it been since we left Singapore? It was 3 months or so. And people say, that's the media saying, like, how can we be negative? Let's see, he's done really well. How can we be negative? Oh, are you disappointed with the speed? I think the speed is amazing. You have no nuclear tests, you have no rockets, and we have a very good relationship with Chairman Kim, which is very important. I like him, he likes me, the relationship is good. Mike Pompeo had a very, very good meeting. I mean, I spoke to him at length yesterday, and he'll be coming back. He'll be back tonight. And so, I mean, just the opposite. I think we've made incredible progress. Beyond incredible. Beyond it. I don't think some of the press, some of the press really covers it accurately and right, but some of the press really doesn't. Yes, John?
Do you want to take this opportunity to tell us when your next meeting with Kim will be and where it will be?
Well, it is happening, and we're setting that up right now. That was part of the reason that Mike was going over to meet. They're setting up the meeting, and we'll be announcing that probably a different location. Singapore was fantastic, but we'll probably do a different location.
Can you get it tomorrow live?
He'd probably like that. I'd like that too. I think it would be good, but we'll see. We're talking about 3 or 4 different locations. Timing won't be too far away. We've made a lot of progress, and this meeting really is to, you know, people don't realize the importance of the first meeting. I mean, we said point number 1, denuclearization, and for some reason the press doesn't pick that up. But that was actually point number 1. They've agreed to denuclearization, and they continue to agree, and they continue. Now, we haven't removed sanctions, as you know. People said, what have we done? We haven't removed sanctions. We have very big sanctions. I'd love to remove them, but we have to get something for doing it.
Any chance the meeting could be on U.S. soil?
Well, you know, I don't want to embarrass anybody by asking. I think eventually we're going to have lots of meetings on U.S. soil, and on their soil, by the way. Just, you know, that's a two-way street, on their soil also. I think that the country of North Korea is going to be a very successful country. I think it's going to be incredibly economically successful, and I want to make it that way. I think it's going to be great. Other countries, other people, entrepreneurs, banks, I will tell you, they're calling, wanting to go there and wanting to invest. At some point, when Chairman Kim makes that decision, I think he's going to unleash something that's going to be spectacular, really spectacular. And I think he knows it, and I think that's one of the reasons that we're having very successful conversations. I think he wants to get on with it.
President, when will a successor
Yes.
to Ambassador Haley be named?
Excuse me?
When will a successor to Ambassador Haley be named? When?
is it?
When will a successor be named?
Oh, I would say we'll name a successor, I don't know, within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe sooner.
Mr. President, have you spoken to the Saudis about the missing Washington Post?
I have not. No, I haven't. But I will be at some point.
What do you know at this point?
I know nothing right now. I know what everybody else knows, nothing.
What's your response to Hillary Clinton saying last night's swearing in of Judge Kavanaugh was more a political event than it was a national event?
I guess that's why she lost. She doesn't get it. She never did. I knew that a long time ago. Hillary never got it. That's why she lost. Anything else?
Sir, the midterms are in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What's your prediction right now for the GOP, and how's your stamina out on the campaign trail?
I think we're going to do well. What you people would say, I guess, if you saw there was a 5% drop-off, you'd say there's something wrong with the president. You would say, but no, I'm going to Iowa tonight. We have a big, big crowd. I'm going to make a big announcement tonight, by the way, in Iowa. We're going to be making a very big announcement. And I have to say the farmers are so thrilled with the USMCA, the new agreement. I don't use the word NAFTA because NAFTA was a disaster for our country. NAFTA, we lost millions and millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of factories and plants, and bad for farmers. You look what happened. Farmers over the last 15 years, it's only gone down. Now they're going to go up. We just opened up Mexico. We just opened up Canada. And it's great for our farmers. But I'm going to Iowa tonight, and we'll be talking a little ethanol tonight. And got some great things planned. And speaking of that, I will say, if you look at industries, the steel industry in this country is back like nothing I've ever seen before. In a period of 6 months since we started doing what I'm doing, the steel industry has literally revived. U.S. Steel is opening up 8 plants. Nucor is opening up. The steel industry in our country is really, really hot. So it's really been great. But I'll be going to Iowa tonight.
What about Secretary Pompeo's meeting in China? How did that go?
Very well. Very well. No, we're very well. We have a very good relationship with China. But they took out $500 billion out of our country for many years, each year, and we just can't let that happen. This should have been talked about by people in this chair for many years. Look, for years and years, they were taking out $200, $300, $400, and even $500 billion a year. We helped rebuild China. If we don't do that, China's not where they are right now. And that's fine with me, but we're not doing it any longer.
You promised more tariffs on China if they retaliate.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Are you going to go forward with that?
100%. If they do that, if they retaliate, what does retaliate mean? They've already retaliated. They've taken out $500 billion. I think that's the ultimate retaliation. Now, look, China wants to make a deal, and I say they're not ready yet. I just say they're not ready yet. And we've canceled a couple of meetings because I just say they're not ready to make a deal. We can't have a one-way street. It's got to be a two-way street. It's been a one-way street for 25 years. We've got to make it a two-way street. We've got to benefit also. Okay? Thank you. Any other questions? So I just want to finish because this is really the pure reason for this is, Nikki, you've been fantastic. You're my friend. And I just, on behalf of the country, I want to thank you for a great job. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You like the event last night, James?
That was President Trump and UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, who just announced her resignation, telling the media that it's just time. She will officially resign at the end of the year, and a word on her successor, they were saying, within a couple months. So we will have continuing coverage on that on Fox 29 if you stay tuned with us at 5 and 6 to 10 and 11 tonight. Again, here's a live look over the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. In local news, 2 gunmen opened fire, killing a 20-year-old woman in Olney. Police are now searching for her killers and a motive. Steve Keeley was on scene in Westford Road with more.
Homeowner's back alley surveillance turns exactly to 1:35 a.m. 2 guys with guns point and start shooting. Debris flies as 19 shots in all are fired in just 4 seconds. Another camera is aimed at the car they were shooting at, with 3 people inside. A 20-year-old woman originally from Abington, and 2 young men, 21 and 19 years old, who live at the Olney home that the car is parked behind. She was in the driver's seat, the car's owner and his cousin in the front passenger and back seat. The 19-year-old just bought the car at an auction and hadn't registered it yet, so the 3 were just sitting in it, hanging out, parked in the back alley of Westford Road. Miraculously, the 2 men were not even hurt by any of the shots. You see the 19-year-old run out the back and into his house as he's trying to run for his life. The car now in our video, bullet riddled. At least 10 of the shots hit the driver's side, many into the driver's door and window where the woman was sitting. Others hit the newer white Nissan Altima next to it. The 2 men who got out alive and unhurt told homicide detectives they didn't see the killers because they ducked down. The 19-year-old's older brother told Fox 29 News he has no idea who'd want to come up to his little brother's car in this dark alley mid-block trying to kill everyone inside. But obviously, someone knew they were all there.
We lived around here for years, man. Years. I'm 31 years old. Years. We never had problems with nobody around, near, far. This is all new to me, man. Like I said, my condolences goes out to the young lady's family, and I'm just glad that everybody else is okay.
We know that at least 10 gunshots struck the driver's side of the parked vehicle where the female victim was sitting in the driver's seat. We know at least 17 shots were fired from 2 separate caliber semi-automatic weapons.
So homicide detectives have surveillance and 2 surviving witnesses who may not be able to say who shot at them, but may be able to say why someone would shoot at them. And the toughest job of all, besides finding the killers, telling the family of this young woman from Abington originally that she was murdered. In Olney, Steve Keeley, Fox 29 News. Back to you.
An afternoon of fun ended in tragedy with 20 people dead after a stretch limousine crashed in upstate New York. Fox 29's Bruce Gordon covered the story last night.
The crash that claimed 20 lives in upstate New York seemed to be the perfect storm for a fatal accident. An improperly licensed driver, a supersized limo that had failed a recent inspection, and a road design considered unsafe by many who used it. Experts in the field say stretch vehicles in particular can be dicey. Civil attorney Jim Waldenberger says any aftermarket modification will likely make a vehicle less safe.
It is not a surprise to anybody that when you essentially are dismantling the vehicle and then putting it back together, it's not going to be as strong as it was when it came out of the assembly.
So who's overseeing the limo industry in our area? Well, in the city of Philadelphia, it's the parking authority tasked with keeping an eye on 100 companies, 1,200 vehicles, and 2,000 drivers. In the city, limos must have no more than 10 years or 350,000 miles on them. Scott Petrie heads up the authority.
How close an eye are you able to keep on all of these vehicles, all these drivers, all these companies?
It's very difficult. We do our level best. We inspect every vehicle once every 5 years, randomly.
Every 5 years?
Once every 5 years.
Is that enough?
It probably is not enough.
You got to start taking tests and all.
Rick Sayer is a longtime commercial driver and former limo driver in the South Jersey and Philly region. He's seen it all and says most customers don't think to ask about a driver's qualification or the vehicle's condition.
It is scary, it's a lot worse than what people think. There's a lot of bad cars out there. There's a lot of drivers that shouldn't be on the road.
Removing the swimsuit competition from the Miss America competition was controversial from the start, and now state organizations that rebelled against the decision are paying the price, including Pennsylvania. Lauren Johnson was live in Atlantic City with more on the drama.
Hey, good morning to you. Things not really looking pretty for the Miss America pageant. So what happened is the states kind of spoke out, and now the national leaders, well, they're responding with punishment. You know, all of this plays out here in Atlantic City. So we are here along the boardwalk talking about it this morning. In addition to the 4 states in trouble, 15 others are on a probation of sorts. National leaders now demanding explanations from them about why they joined the calls for CEO Regina Hopper and Director Gretchen Carlson to step down over the summer. Dozens of states made requests after bullying allegations from outgoing Miss America Cara Mund. Allegations that Carlson acknowledged in a letter that she posted on Twitter resulted in loss of at least $75,000 worth of scholarship money for the organization. So now several of those states will have to replace the officials who went against the pair if they want to keep their affiliation and the bank accounts with scholarship prize money. The leadership reportedly sent thanks and praise to those states who remain loyal to the cause during the scandal. So Carlson took over the organization back in January. She went on a female empowerment crusade. The first thing she did was eliminate that swimsuit competition. She thinks many of her critics are angry and upset about that. They're firing back, saying it has nothing to do with that. It's more about the tone of the organization, the transparency that's not there, and her lack of communication. So this is one of those situations that we'll have to see what happens. It's a to be continued case. Back to you.
What is this? Hey, Portal, call Lauren.
Well, Facebook wants to get into your home. The social media giant launching its first electronic device called Portal. It has a screen and a camera and is intended to make video calls easier and more intuitive. The camera uses artificial intelligence to automatically pan and zoom as people move around during calls. The Portal will feature 2 different screen sizes and will go on sale in early November for about $200 to $350. Facebook says users turn the microphone and camera off and states it does not listen to, view, or keep any content of Portal video calls. The company says all calls are encrypted for security. Well, today is the Flyers home opener, and we were looking this morning for our good friend Gritty. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to the station, but Fox 29 Good Day, as always, improvised and provided some great laughs. Here's a look at this morning's Gritty.
All right, I'm ready to see Mike. You guys, are you ready though? I'm not sure. Yes, this is our must-see moment of the day. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, Karen. All right.
So normally, we all know what Gritty looks like nowadays.
Yeah,
so
let's show
famous
him.
right now. He's a legend. We love him. Always making his appearances.
It wasn't that way at first, but it really seems like the city has turned around. They're all on board with Gritty. We've seen Gritty cutouts. We've seen Gritty greeting cards. Like, they're all over it. And so tonight is Gritty's big debut. Unfortunately, Gritty's a little busy because he's so popular, so we couldn't get Gritty to come on the show. But Mike, because he's so lovely, decided to volunteer. And now we have Gritty. Bring him out.
Doing shows, put my Mac down, Mississippi to Philly, Albuquerque to
It's epic. It's epic.
Oh, there's the belly. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah. Pose for a second to do the side-by-side. We want to compare you and Gritty. Give us your Gritty face. Yeah. I like it. I like it. All right, now you can come on. I think your belly's about
Hey,
to fall
before
out.
I come over there, can I say thank you? Come on out, staff. This Anastasia and all her crew over at AC Moore. They did a darn good job in a matter of minutes, didn't they?
They certainly did.
Oh, hold on a second. Hey, Di, can you put, I got the wrong name on my back. Can you,
I've
did you
got
make
that
one
right
for
over
me?
here.
There you go, that'll work. Can you grab it?
I need to get this on camera as well.
Oh, yes.
On TV.
Definitely going on the gram.
Can you stick that on my back? Then I'll really feel Gritty. I can't believe Gritty didn't come in today. Tonight's the home opener.
Why did Gritty do us like that?
I don't know. If the Flyers could contact us in the next hour and let us know where Gritty is, so I wouldn't have had to do
maybe
this.
We should check maybe I should check Twitter.
What are you looking
maybe
at?
Gritty's tweeted.
Oh, that's great.
Your Gritty's already falling off, Mike.
Is it?
Yes.
That's okay.
Let me see what Gritty's tweeted this morning. Yeah, I will help you out. I've got you.
I'm going to
All
put
right.
my stick over here. I carry a big stick.
Now they're seeing all my snacks.
I think that's kind of fabulous. I mean, they did a really good job. You look great.
Thank you.
You do. Now turn around so I can fix your Gritty. Your Gritty tag.
Fix my Gritty. Oh, no! My belly fell out and my head fell off.
It takes a lot to be Gritty, man. People don't know
does.
the behind the scenes.
Not everybody can do it.
Anastasia!
Hold on.
Where'd you go?
You're moving too much. I'm trying to...
Sorry.
Yeah, this tape isn't... I don't think this tape is the tape we need.
Well, you know who I am. I mean, do I have to say I'm Gritty?
Well, you might need to.
Isn't it
Yeah,
obvious?
it's not working.
Hold on, my belly fell off, too.
Hey, that's my pillow.
Sorry. All right.
Oh, there it goes on the floor.
Come have a seat.
Where's my helmet?
I have it right here. I'm going to put it on when you sit down.
I can't see. I don't have any eyes.
Oh, my gosh. Nice one.
The main problem with this one is the beard's getting in my mouth and up my nose, and I'm about to sneeze.
Oh, we have feathers in your nose. Let's see if we can tickle you a little bit.
Last time I had feathers in my nose. Well,
Stop it. This is great. So this is your mouth, right?
yeah, that's my mouth.
Okay.
Yes. Not so tight, please. Oh, God.
You can't make this up.
See, the trouble is the eyes are on my hat.
Right. I mean, Gritty has big eyes. Where else were you going to put them?
All right, again, go Flyers. And I'm kind of upset with the Flyers organization because we couldn't get Gritty in here, so I'm having to do this.
Let's go, Flyers.
And where's your microphones? I hear it rubbing, but I'm not sure where in there it is.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It'll be fine.
Oh, it's in your beard?
Is it in my beard?
Oh, there it is. Okay. I just want to...
It's like a Broadway
For you.
actor. You know,
There
they
we
put
go.
the microphone in their hair.
Right. Okay, there.
thanks.
That might be a little better.
All right. Let's talk about some serious issues now.
Besides this one?
Yeah, world debt, finding peace for the planet.
That's right.
Thank you for watching Fox 29's News Now. You can join us again tomorrow right here at 10 a.m.